So a series that never got a continuation that we've wanted to see a continuation of is Dead Rising. This is a title, guys, where we got 4 full-blown entries into the franchise, and we have not seen up to this point in time a continuation. There were plans to have another Dead Rising title, but obviously this one got canceled, and the question now remains, will we ever see a Dead Rising 5 in the future? So let's get into it. This is an article coming to us from Lee Williams of Games Hub. Dead Rising 5 was in development at Capcom before the project was shuttered. Dead Rising 5 never made it out of development at Capcom Vancouver despite the popularity of a long-running series. For years, the existence of the sequel wasn't even public knowledge until a report from gaming historian Liam Robertson confirmed fresh details about the sequel and how it wound up being canceled. According to Robertson's research, Dead Rising 5 was the unfortunate victim of 2018 layoffs at Capcom Vancouver, which was eventually shuttered. Prior to this decision, work on the game had reportedly been well underway, with concept art, narrative, and soon elements of the game's overall design completed. In the portfolio of former Capcom Vancouver level designer Nick Sinekowitz, fans have discovered a treasure trove of information about the mysterious Dead Rising sequel. Sinkenowitz worked on several major levels for the game and creating many mechanics in the process, including an environmental damage system, traversal system, loot container system, and enemy spawner. He also created the basic gray box levels for locales, including the Barrio Hotel, camps, Mayan temple, and safe house, all of which would likely have played a major role in the game. So obviously, guys, they were working on this title in a pretty, it seems like in a decent way. I mean, when you think about it, they had already had a number of levels that were already mapped out, were already being worked on, and all of a sudden you get all these layoffs and things of that nature that end up hitting over at Capcom Vancouver. So it was a really, really unfortunate ordeal that happened there. But would we ever see this game return to the fray at some point or another? Well, that being said, while clearly unfinished, the level of polishing clips posted by Sinkenowitz suggests Capcom Vancouver was far into development on this project before the plug was eventually pulled. Combat and enemy movement seems jerky and textures are clearly rough, but the game does appear playable. The ongoing popularity of the Dead Rising franchise may lead to a series revival in the future, but it does appear this previously unknown sequel will remain in its current unfinished state for now as a relic of the once bright ambitions of Capcom Vancouver. At least we'll always have the rest of the excellent over-the-top Dead Rising games to remember the studio by. So, look, here's the deal. At this point in time, guys, it's hard to say if Dead Rising will ever come back. But if Capcom ever decided to go back to it, they've already worked on, a number of different things. Looks like they were, decently far into development where it was at least playable, even though it seemed like it was probably buggy. Some of the textures weren't fully finished. But they have they would obviously have somewhat of a foundation for Dead Rising 5 to make its way at some point in the future. And I really think that this is a great case, guys, of a game that we as the community need to voice it back into existence. Whether it's through social media, on Reddit, tagging the developers and the publishers, saying that we want a Dead Rising 5 can actually go a lot farther than you might think. Dead Space was a game that came out and we had always wanted a continuation, never got that continuation, but we did echo into existence a remake of that first game, and it was a smash success. So could Dead Rising, have the exact same kind of formula to making it, get made at some point in the future? I think that's something that could very well happen. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Dead Rising 5. Is this a game you'd like to see? Do you think it's ever going to happen? Let us know in the comment section down below and let's have a real conversation about it. And for more Dead Rising 5 content and videos, stay here with zrotv.